No, wait a minute.
Go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I love this buzz. We are so excited to be able to kick off the month with some good news and some good works, and to not only share but continue to build community and energy around digital inclusion. So I want to welcome you to our Kansas City Coalition for Digital Inclusion. Let's give that a round of applause. I am Stephanie Smith, a proud warrior and champion, along with our steering committee and along with you. So real quick, if our steering committee members, if you can raise your hands in the air. Wonderful. Thank you. Mr. Walker. Give him a round of applause. It has been really good work and consistent work in us joining alongside with you and really making sure that we are speaking the language, building the language, and advocating for digital inclusion for all. And we know the benefits for it. So thank you guys. We'll ride through these slides just so we can all be reminded of why we have come. And so how many of you all have seen our vision and mission before? All right, so there's a few hands not up, so we'll leave this up. But it is always good for us to remember why we have come and what our beliefs are and the direction that we plan on going. And so this serves as our filter screen. And so when we are faced with this work and we come together in our work groups and we come together to make a difference, this is what we are aiming towards. And remember our handles, our social media handles. So for any of you all that are going to make any posts, please be sure to add hashtag include KC. Rick Usher does an amazing job of making sure that we have this always recorded. How many of you all have liked us on Facebook? Okay, let's keep that up. And then all the other ways. What do we have? Twitter, Instagram, Rick?
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. So
Facebook, Twitter.
It's on the slide.
If you keep going on the slide.
Boom. There we go. So also want to make sure that you all check in and have your assignments. That's very important. We want to be able to collect some good information. Also, the parking validation is in the back, so make sure you don't forget that. And then these are our passwords. And then, of course, these are our handles and ways that you can connect to what we have going on. So please make sure you are connected. And what I am extremely excited about is we know that it is important to celebrate all cultures 365 days a year. When we talk about inclusion, digital inclusion is just one aspect of it. We are very excited to leverage February to really lift up what the African American, my cultural heritage, and my community, what has really been the contributions of this great community. And so I want to give a shout out to one of our family members, Montgomery. Let's give her a round of applause. Yeah. For being a champion and saying, hey, I'm going to take February and we're going to go all out. And thank you for all of our companies and organizations who have set up in the back. Thank you guys for not only coming here today, but doing what you're doing every day. So I would encourage everyone to please make sure that you go around, learn and see what is going on in these respective areas, and let's continue to build community. So while we, before we do that, I want to bring up the one and only, right? You know that? You.
No, we need to do introductions.
Okay, we'll do introductions and then we'll bring up Ms. Montgomery and she'll tell us what's going on. So Kim, if we can start with you. You're going to stand up and say the name, your name. Everybody's going to do it. That's our motto. My name is Stephanie Smith. I am a part of many entities. I'm always excited to serve the community in meaningful ways. But I am the managing partner for Sophic Solutions, which is a change management consulting firm. We consult and walk with organizations really to help operationalize equity and also help with business solutions. And I'm so happy to be here. Yeah.
I don't know why she act like I wasn't. That's what I do. I'm Kim Randolph. I'm the CEO of, there you go. I'm president and CEO of the Hartman Black Chamber of Commerce, or regional chamber. I'm also a business owner in the community. I'm a construction manager. I know most of these Kansas City people, So most of you probably know me, but if you want to know more about the Heartland Black Chamber of Commerce, we are here to actively connect, promote, and grow small businesses in Kansas City. And it doesn't just mean minority businesses. And I'm glad to be here. Thanks, Ina, for inviting me.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Daryl Johnson, otherwise Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
See, now you're on in the beginning. And my company is called Business Credit Works. I specialize in establishing business credit in your EIN number, Dun & Bradstreet experience after facts. I'm also a loan broker, because every business is not a cookie cutter. So I can find money, put you in front of a joint venture, capitalists, all of that. Business Credit Works is my company. Daryl Johnson, Uncle Phil. Thank you.
Well, good morning. I guess we're not there yet. My name is Erin Bob, and I'm here for Bridging the Gap. I help plant trees on behalf of the Heartland Tree Alliance all throughout Kansas City. I'm also an artist and healer, designer. I do other things, but I'm here for the trees. But you know, gotta keep it real with who I am. I'm Elvira Cunningham, and I'm the Director of Workforce and Adult Education for the Guadalupe Center. So we're just kind of seeing what we can learn and how we can partner up.
I'm Valerie Aguilar with alongside Elvira at Guadalupe Centers. I'm the employment specialist, so I do a lot of the more hands-on walk-in client work and really work one-on-one with our clients, mostly the Latino community. So we're just here to learn and see what we can implement at our center.
Good morning, my name is Autumn Burton. I'm the Director of Programs at Literacy KC. Literacy KC offers free reading, writing, math, computer, and high school preparation for adults. We recently relocated to 31st and True, so come down and see us, and I'm so glad to be here today. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Leslie Scott. I'm the VISTA Volunteer Coordinator at Community Housing in Wyandotte County, CHWC, and I'm also a former Digital Inclusion Fellow, so it's kind of runs through my blood.
Hi, I'm Abby Decker from Wyandotte County. I work in the Knowledge Department, and this is my 9th week here, but I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
Good morning. My name is Tracy Cronin. I work for the City of Kansas City, Missouri Health Department, Digital Services Team.
I'm Gary Sage, retired from the Economic Development Corporation in Kansas City.
Hi, I'm Wayne Fleet. I have a consulting practice that specializes in venture capital and private equity, and I've been working with the EDC on minority entrepreneurship.
I'm Majestic Williams with the Vineyard Neighborhood Association.
Hi, Graham, also with AR.
I'm Sarah Morris. I'm the Executive Director of Continuing and Professional Education at UMKC.
Wes Parkman, I guess since we're doing celebrity lookalikes, I get Dave Chappelle, Kevin Garnett, DMX, and Frozen.
Be a man!
All right. Yeah, Frozen.
Never forget you now.
Yeah. I'm the Executive Director, CEO of Urban Scholastic Center, which is a faith-based nonprofit in Wyandotte, Kansas, with an emphasis on educational preparation, enrichment, and entertainment for K-12 students.
Good morning. My name is William Dowdell. I'm a team member at KC Social Innovation Center. I am also the program director for Hire KC, which is Mayor Slide James' internship program.
I'm Eli Davis, and I'm the employment specialist for the organization Hailing House.
Good morning. I'm Chris Allen with Goodwill of Western Missouri, Eastern Kansas, and I'm a program manager for our skills training to help people find employment or better employment. I've also written and in charge of our Digital Career Accelerator program, which is our free classes just to help people get basic computer skills and literacy so that we can help make sure that they're that much more equipped to find a job or get a better job.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anita Richard, and I'm with Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools. I'm a College and Career Academy facilitator at Washington High School.
And I'm Susan Norris from Echo Select. We do business and IT consulting and staffing.
to get our friends on here.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tim Allen with the Full Employment Council. I'm a workforce development executive. And I work with area businesses to assist in any needs that they might have in filling open positions.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Nia Richardson. I work with the KC BizCare office with the City of Kansas City. We're a business customer service center for those individuals who need to get their business registration set up. We can help you do all of that, as well as cut through the red tape of getting through other city departments to get yourself established.
Very helpful, thank you.
Hello, my name is Philip Hickman. I'm the CEO and founder of Playbook, and also I am co-founder of Learn Techquity, which is, so Playbook is an immersive media reader, takes immersive technology, augmented reality, 360, virtual reality, those kind of things, and combines it with the book format for more of an immersive experience, and it has 42 sort of home vibrates and all those kind of things. And then Learn Techquity is a nonprofit coding academy that we are bringing to Kansas City. We already have it in other states, but it's really geared towards urban, usually around 19 to 28 years old. It's a 9-month program that's from 8 to 3. It's more intensive than online programs. We have 100% placement where individuals that know technology come out to making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year.
Okay, should be a long line right here.
Hi, I'm Tammy Buckner. I am the founder of Techquity Digital and founder of Learn Techquity, as he was explaining our coding academy. I also assist businesses with putting technology in their companies, making sure that they have effective technology and that they're running as a Fortune 500 company.
I'm Montgomery. My organization is Urban Tech, or the TEC is the acronym for Technology Empowered Communities. House at Central High School, working with students, working with teachers on digital, trying to help close the digital literacy divide. Philip was very modest. He actually placed first or second in Launch KC, the competition in 2018. So Playbook is a very, very great product. You can go check it out, look it up.
Hello, good morning. My name is George Walker, and I'm with the Black Family Technology Awareness Association of Kansas City. We're one of the oldest VEX robotics training, or we have robotics teams in Kansas City. We have a Lego League and VEX robotics that we use with the kids. We also do some computer classes for adults. We have an online radio station, KUAW, which stands for Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. And we're also getting ready next weekend, February the 9th, for the Kansas City Youth STEM Fair, which will be held at the Southeast Community Center in Swope Park. So we want you to all come out.
Good morning, my name is Mildred Walker, and I work alongside my husband with the organization.
My name is Nikki Conley, and I am a roadway engineer, and I'm also a volunteer with Black Founders and Technologists as a Lego robotics coach.
Jim Alley with the Economic Development Corporation and Launch KC.
Good morning. My name is Andrea Ellis, and I'm at the Kansas City Public Library. I actually manage a digital media lab that we have at the Southeast branch on 6030 Swope Parkway. That is for 12 to 18-year-olds, and we do everything from audio, video production to 3D design to we have a First Tech Challenge robotics team as well. And we're actually looking for a part-time facilitator, so if anybody has somebody that might be interested. The other thing I just wanted to mention too is that I'm leading a regional project to look at how we connect the youth in our city to all of these wonderful activities and opportunities here. And so I would love to talk to the organizations that are doing that work so we can figure out how we can all work together.
I'm Aaron Deacon, the Managing Director at KC Digital Drive.
It sounded like he said Mayor Deacon. It's Aaron Deacon, but he could be the mayor. He could be
Somebody else want to tell us?
I know something else you want to announce today. No.
Pass the mic. Good morning, everyone. I am Domingo Obed with Metropolitan Community College. I work with our healthcare programs.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Carrie Coogan. I'm Deputy Director of the Kansas City Public Library. I'm also a member of the steering council here. And I really want to thank Ina Montgomery, who's leading the meeting today, and just want to to make sure that you all know that if you see somebody here, or somebody who's not here, who should be here, please invite them to our next meeting. We meet every first Friday of the month here at 10:30 at the Kansas City Public Library. And it's open to anybody who wants to come. So if this is your first time, I hope you'll come back. And if you think that there's somebody who's been missing in action and not here, please make sure that they come. I also want to give a special shout out to all of the people who are here representing Wyandotte County. This coalition has been meeting in some form for about 5 years, and we have always been trying to get more people from Wyandotte County involved and make this more of a regional effort. And so I really can't thank you enough, and so please keep coming back so that we can keep doing this work together. Thanks.
I'm Dave LeCrone, I'm the digital branch manager here at Kansas City Public Library. I support the steering council and their work, and I manage the website for the coalition.
Awesome. All right, Rick.
All right.
Let's trade.
All right. I'm Rick Usher, I'm Assistant City Manager for Small Business and Entrepreneurship at the city. I've been on the steering council for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, and trying to find more ways to get the city engaged in digital inclusion projects, and I'll talk more here later on the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And so we had one more person walk in. The reason why this is so important is because we want to use this time to not only network and connect and learn more about what's going on, but really figure out how we can connect the dots. And so we know that digital inclusion has to be a bi-state approach to it, and so we want to make sure that everybody is included.
Hi, my name is Jamala Johnson. I'm with the Kansas City Economic Development Corporation, business development for Eastside and also entrepreneurship.
Thank you. All right, so thank you guys for taking the time. We're going to have Dominga come up and talk about membership. This is a movement. This is an ongoing piece where we really want to continue to build the folks. So Dominga, lead the way.
Referenced our website earlier. There you can find information about how to become a member. We have, for example, a luncheon coming up on February 19th, and that is a members-only luncheon where we want to hear more from you all. Where are we headed? Where should we be headed? And so there's some additional benefits. So if you have not had an opportunity, if you've been coming here for a while and you've just been kind of considering joining, for those of you who are new today, we want to allow you the opportunity to just kind of sit in and think about everything that we're discussing today. A lot of great activity Carrie talked about. We've been doing this work for 5 years. And so we need people from across the community to be able to really support and leverage all of our resources collectively so that we can continue to grow and just scale the work that we're doing. So having said that, we have we're up from 23 members to 27. I want to take a moment to recognize the Women's Employment Network, the Healing House, also UMKC, and Google Fiber. They've been here with us for some time, and so thank you in joining us and leading in this effort. So membership forms are in the back. If you would like to take some time to complete that, you can hand that to any of us steering council members, and we'll be glad to take your information. Your name will go up on the website. So again, if you want a little bit more information about membership, please visit our website, kccdi.org. Thank you.
And by the way, guess what it takes to be a member? Who knows? Just one of those. See, all you have to do is sign up. So we don't want to make it sound super, ambiguous. It is just literally going back, taking the form and completing it and submitting it. That is what it means. Hold on, wait a minute.
And there are no fees.
And there are no fees. You did not introduce yourself while you don't play. Come on.
William Wells with Stain Village. Nice, thank you very much.
Don't do that. All right, Rick. It's all you.
Thank you. So the coalition, we've had a couple of summits and town hall meetings, and out of that we came up with 4 of these focus areas: overcoming barriers, broadening participation, raising awareness, and connecting people. These are the 4 principal work groups that we have being led. And so Ina and I are working together with the broadening participation group. So great work, Ina, getting everyone to come here. look forward to, and so William Dodell, is that? Dowdell with Higher KC Youth is here. Higher KC Youth is a summer internship program. We've participated with them in the past through different coalition members in what we've called the Digital Scholars Program. Looking to more formalize that this year so that, is it February 26th is your, and that event is, that's not the hiring day, is it? That's
No, the hiring day will be in April, but February 26th is just to give a lot of students their sort of first touch at internship opportunities.
Okay.
And we should say paid internships, not just.
right. These are paid internships that are $10 an hour. Is that
$10 to $15.
10 to 15 an hour? Yeah. So we've various members of the coalition have engaged these students over the last few years. What I'd like to look at doing this time is at that hiring fair having a coalition organization of saying this is how you can participate in these digital inclusion efforts, and it's very broad, as you've seen from the members we have here, how we can give students a way to participate and keep that going. So another initiative I'm involved with is Core 4. It's an organization of the 4 major local governments in the region: Kansas City, Missouri, Jackson County, Johnson County, and Wyandotte County KCK local government. I'm involved with the planning committee there, and we have a work group that I've introduced this concept of the digital upcycling program the city's been involved with for the last few years, trying now to reach out to these other cities to join that program. It's basically donating our surplus computers and electronics for refurbishing and reuse in our digital inclusion programs and for outfitting community learning centers throughout the city. So we'll be looking at more from that organization in the coming year. But that's so that's what I have at this point. Ina, you're next on the agenda.
Yep, it's official. If we could, like Rick said, Ina has put this together and done great work in ensuring that not only do we have great people to learn from, but that we have a really good audience to participate. So let's welcome Ina again. Thank you for your leadership.
And I also want to thank Stevie and Dominga and everybody, Rick, who I, the last minute yesterday, asked to be engaged this morning and present. We decided as a coalition.
And I read that email this morning.
Right. That we would do things different this year because we know Insanity is doing the same thing. So we thought we would do some things different this year to get different results. One of the key things is definitely getting more engagement from the community, and then us being consistent in what we're offering to the members. So again, free membership. All we ask for is your time every first Friday from 10:30 to 12. A little disappointed, William, where's your table?
Get on it.
So I, in the fall, did a Party with a Purpose bus tour, and we had a chance to go to about 5 spaces in Kansas City. I knew that William was doing some stuff, but I didn't know all that he was doing. So if you get a chance to visit Estate Village, 1740, what's the address? 1600.
I don't know if it's Paseo or Martin Luther King Boulevard. It'll be one of the other.
It's official.
But if you want to go by and visit him, because he, like I said, I was not aware that his deaf program is so great there at Sting Village. We went to Full Employment Council, visited Joe Macklin with the auto engineering. They're actually offering a certificate that is great for students. Then we went on up to the W. Boyd Learning Center where Mr. Walker's at and Nikki's at, doing great work there with First Legos, Dex Robotics, and then on the W. Boyd Learning side, I forgot his name, but they're actually offering cybersecurity certification for free. And that's probably, I don't even know how much that costs to get that.
That's Harrison.
Harrison May? Yeah. Okay. And so that was a great thing. Then we went by MySpace at Central High School. So if you get a chance, we're going to do that again in the spring and probably include some more spaces, but it's definitely a great way to see what's going on east of Troost to help close the digital divide.
So what I thought I would do today is just introduce you guys to some of the Blacks who are in technology, who have made contributions, be it an invention or a procedure. Unfortunately, because Black history is not taught in schools, you may or may not know some of these people. You may, but some of them I did not even know. So let's just get started here with, it's not moving. What did I do? All right, Richard Spikes. So Richard Spikes, as you see, had a whole host of different patents that he was responsible for. Most notably would be the transmission and automatic gear shift. That's his patent from like way back in 1932. Of course, that technology has evolved over time and it's been more sophisticated since. But he was one of the pioneers with that. And again, you can see all the other lists. These are actually the dates next to the item is the year that he applied for to receive the patent. Then we've got Garrett C. Morgan. Everybody knows him for the traffic light. He also invented the gas mask, which is also called the, what's it called, the hood? My hood's here. Smoke protector, the safety hood and smoke protector. And so it's interesting with the traffic light, with technology, there's a big concern on who's really getting credit for what. So if you do research, you might see more than one person being given the credit for the traffic light. But you see here in 23, and that's why I included some of the patents so that you can see that Garrett C. Morgan was responsible for this patent for creating the actual stoplight. And then again, the technology for the gas mask evolved over time to where we're at today. Dr. Charles Drew, you're probably familiar with. In 1904, he excelled from an early age in becoming a doctor, working with figuring out how to separate. And so that slide over there, or the picture over there, he figured out the process to get plasma separated. And so we know that that has over time saved a lot of people's lives because of that. And people getting blood with that ability is because of the process that he came up with. Alexander Miles, this is one new for me. So yes, the elevator had been invented, but then he came up with the invention on the doors opening and closing. And so it was, he was seeing the elevator close one day, a little girl was nearby, she almost fell into the shaft, and so he was like, there needs to be a way for those doors to close for safety purposes, and came up with that invention. So again, you see the patent over there for that. And this is one of my favorite, Patricia Bath. She actually came up with the laser Phaco Pro, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, and it actually removes cataracts. And so with a lot of people, including me in the Black community having diabetes, if it gets out of control, you get foggy in your lens. And so I actually had cataract surgery a couple of years ago, but it was her invention, with her process and procedure for having cataracts removed that we have today. And I actually would like to get her to Kansas City. She's a little bit older in age. I think she's like 76 or something like that, but I would love to have her come speak. This is the home security system. Again, we know that entrepreneurs invent things out of necessity. And so Maria Van Britton Brown and her husband kept their houses in their neighborhood kept getting broken into. And so they created the first home security system. They applied for the patent, they received it. It was approved, as you see, in December of 1969. The patent was signed, or filed rather, under her and her husband's name. Very elaborate with the cameras, with the system, you know, having the viewing of the cameras inside the house. And so everybody thinks that this is a new invention or just, you know, happened recently, but this was actually, again, Marie Van Britton, who came up with that home security system. Then we have, another favorite, Dr. Marion Croak. And so for some of the technology, it is people contributing to the body of research, contributing to the body of processes, and that would be Dr. Marion Croak, who also contributed to the body of research and the invention of voice over IP. And so she worked for AT&T Labs for years. She currently, I believe, is at Google, and she's leading several people there. She has over 125 patents in VoIP, or voice over Internet Protocol technology. She's worked for AT&T for more than 30 years in their data services. And so again, just very instrumental in us having this ability today was because of her research. Another one of my favorites is Mark Dean. He's an inventor and engineer. He worked at IBM on a team that actually came up with the ISA-Bus technology. And so what the ISA-Bus technology is your ability, at least it was before, but now everything's wireless, but to actually hook up your keyboard, hook up your mouse to your computer. So all those little ports you had in the back, there had to be a way for your peripheral devices to communicate with the computer and the motherboard especially. And it was Mark Dean who led that team at IBM to actually come up with that technology. And so he also has several, like hundreds of patents in technology. So you want to take time to look him up if you already are not aware of him. And he is one person I did try to get to Kansas City, but he has committed to the work that he and his wife are doing in Kentucky. He's a professor there, he teaches. I think he does some speaking engagement, but not too many. Then we've got Dr. Shirley Jackson, and she's an American physicist. She received her PhD from MIT. She's the first African-American woman to receive a doctorate in nuclear physics at MIT. In addition, her length of, she's got a lot of academic achievements. She was also a member of, or she also, has a number of inventions as well. And so again, another person, because of their basic scientific research, contributed to the invention of the portable fax, the touch-tone telephone, solar cells, fiber optic cables, and also the technology behind caller ID and caller waiting. So although we probably don't use some of those technologies, she was definitely ahead of that in her time. So again, it was the body of work that she did that contributed to other people tapping into what she had put together, the research that she had and that she created that allowed for some of the technology that we enjoy today. So that's just a brief introduction. There's plenty. You can just do a Google search, Blacks in Technology, inventions, contributions. I just chose these few, but there's so many out there, so I definitely challenge you to do that. The next thing, I'm going to kind of switch hats here, and I'm going to look at the Kansas City metropolitan area. And so we know that Kansas City boasts of being one of the leading cities in technology. We've got a lot of good companies here. We've got a lot of good startups. However, to some degree, the digital divide, I believe, in Kansas City still exists. And so recently, the Brookings Institution, and I've got the source there, you can see me afterward if you want to see it, did a survey on the Black and Hispanic underrepresentation in tech, and saying that it's time to change the equation. And so on this chart here, what they list is the rank, the metropolitan area, all occupations, computer and math, and then over and under representation, so you can see the numbers there. And you gotta go all the way down to get to actually number 44, which is where Kansas City, Missouri and Kansas ranks. So that's not a good place to be on that list. And so just showing that there's a lot of work to do to engage Black and brown students in math. And so when you look at, and these are for the Hispanic workers, same area, same study, the percentages are low, however they rank 28 on the list, which is up from 44, where the Black population was at. So again, a lot of work to do there. So although we are, as a city, making a lot of strides, there's still a concern with people being left behind and the divide getting wider when it comes to digital literacy, digital access, jobs in IT, all of the above. Another study that I found for STEM This is for STEM clusters, for actually pursuing jobs for Blacks and Hispanics, still being underrepresented. And this is from the Pew Research Center. So again, if you want to see that research, I'd be more than happy to send that link out to you because it's a very lengthy report. So they did an exhaustive research and study to see what was going on. Then we've got, and this I found interesting, racial earning gaps were narrower for STEM workforce and non-STEM workforce. And so you can see the numbers there. And this is in, let me see, comparison, I believe, to, workers as a percent of whites. And so they got the Asian, the Black, and the Hispanic groups broken out. And you can see for the STEM jobs and the non-STEM jobs where they stand. So that is a little encouraging, but there's still work that needs to be done. So Kansas City, I think this year we need to get to solutions. And so we can talk about the problem, we know the problem, we can present the data, we can look at the research, but I'm hoping that, especially the Kansas City Digital Coalition, this group, that we're more active in providing, since we're saying that people are looking at Kansas City as a model, then I think we need to lead the way for solutions. I actually did a query on digital divide solutions, and to me they were kind of all over the board. They were more global than I found locally, and so I think we have a good opportunity to start saying, here's the solutions, here how, this is how we went about it, here's how we included, community partners like you, business partners, education, business. Everybody I think has to come together because we know it's in education, we know it's in training, we know it's in workforce development. FEC is here with the Tech Hire Initiative. So we know that we have the resources. It's the career opportunities. If somebody's trained, do they have a job to go to? And so all these things come together in what needs to be the ecosystem to support Black and Brown being successful in technology. And so today, what I have done is invited some of the people whom I know, of course everybody's not here, but just for some of the organizations, people who are part of the Black tech ecosystem, who are working east of Truce, in the urban core, with students, with adults, trying to give them access, trying to make sure that if they have an interest in being certified, if they want to do FIRST robotics, they know they can go to William Wells. He's taking teams out of town. Some of these kids, as you know, they've never been to Raytown. And so just the fact that, he's taking them to New York. I don't know where you guys are going this year. Detroit. Okay, and so we need more opportunities for that. It's good to do these local field trips, but you can really open a mind when they get outside of Kansas City, and it's like, oh, there's another world out here. And especially when they meet peers or kids their age, and they see how well they're doing, or they see what they're doing. And so I think we really need to expand our scope and open up that lens for our K-12 students. Mr. Walker, as he said, he's been in the trenches for years, just steady out there with Black Family Technology, providing access, giving exposure, making the kids aware, and then with the radio station, you have a chance, go check it out. Because now the kids know how to go and they can have their own segment. All they have to do is talk to him, they can have their own segment, so now they're tracking themselves towards a career if they want. So again, they can talk about digital inclusion forever. And I think Gary was there when Clyde McQueen earlier this year, we were at a conference in the fall, and he was like, I'm tired of talking, it's been 30 years of talk. And so I'm just saying the challenge for us is to move into action, get a solution, let's get a plan, and let's just get it going. And so, it's like eating an elephant, we just take a small bite, and we have to figure it out, because I don't think it's fair that Black and Brown students in the urban core don't have the same opportunities that other students do. And in some cases, is it access to technology? I think kind of yes or no, but in other cases, I think there's just nothing there for them. And so we just have to, I think, work a little bit harder to make that possible. So that was me on my soapbox. I'm more than happy to take any questions.
About what you're doing over there with your program, and what are students learning? What have you been doing since launch?
Right. So in the Community Innovation Lab at Central High School, I Dean, who I called last year, this being bold, suggested, and that teaches Raspberry Pi. And so you use Raspberry Pis rather with the Pi Tops, which teaches coding and programming. And so I was able to purchase 3 of them, and we'll be working with students that interacts with the Arduino boards, Makey, which I have set up back there. So all these words that I'm saying you've never heard before, they're words that are used in K-12 education. These are some of the technologies because they engage students. And the thing that really saddens me is that I know that Black and brown students, especially Black, they're more hands-on. They have to be engaged. You know, the worksheets, we're so over that, but unfortunately, they're still being handed out worksheets in the classroom. And so one of the things that I am working on at Central, and it's a slow process in education, it's not like we want, and so I've got Mr. Woodard here waiting on a proposal from me. And so I want to show how technology intervention impacts academic performance for 9th grade students in algebra. And so I finally got the permission from the principal, and now I'm sending out the consent forms to the parents to say, I'll be pulling your child out of class. And these are students who are 2 and 3 grade levels below. I think I mentioned this last time. And so they're below in algebra. They don't understand basic algebra concepts or functions. And so me pulling them out, teaching them that, and then also using technology to engage them, because there's so much technology, be it an online app or curriculum that teaches algebra with technology as an intervention. So I'm doing that. I'm doing teacher professional development, Flex Wednesdays, the 4th and 5th Wednesday, an after-school technology club to teach some of the other stuff that I have, the Ozobots. I've got Legos, I've got the green screen, a lot of things that Andrea has also at the Southeast Community Center. So again, that's in that part of town, so I'm in this part of town, so although we collaborate a lot, but it's just making sure that the kids have access to that, and then being a part of the ecosystem. I have no interest ever in doing competitive robotics, and so you're going to do first, you go to William, and you go to Vex, you go to Mr. Walker, and so that's what is great about having the ecosystem, because if somebody's not interested in robotics, and they can say, hey, I don't know what I was doing, I'm going to go check Ms. Montgomery out at Central. So that's kind of what I'm doing there. We have a little time. Can I put you on the spot, Philip? Because I think, because we know literacy is very key, and Playbook, as I mentioned earlier, he placed, was it second or first, whatever, in Launch KC, which is a local competition with his products. So if you can come up and talk a little bit more in detail about Playbook.
Hello, how are you guys doing? Thank you for the opportunity. One of the issues just kind of my background, I used to be a superintendent from here, I used to live in 43rd and Jackson, then went to Raytown South, played football in Mizzou, 5 graduate degrees, a doctorate in SLU at St. Louis University. So I'm here, but my career was outside of Kansas City, and so I was in the Chicago area, superintendent in Houston and Mississippi. Houston was the 7th largest school district in the nation, so at the time we had 300 schools, 10,000 students. Some of the things that we're seeing in the urban community, and all of our community actually, if you look at the United States, the disappointment that I had was education, which is arguably one of the most important organizations in the world, right? And to our society, is the only organization that is allowed to have a 28% success rate that's still functioning. Right. So, we have 72% of our children that read below the 3rd grade level. And those consequences are detrimental. We know that are really imperative and that we need to fix, right? And so everybody argues, well, you need print books, you need digital books. There's actually only 5 ways to learn how to read, and it has nothing to do with what, print or digital, right? So 5 is when you look around, there's reading comprehension, vocabulary, those kind of things. And so one of the issues that we're having is that we have one generation that's a hybrid generation that prefers print and digital, and then we have the iGen generation. At 2 years old, those babies have technology in their hand, right? And so that's all they know is to be immersed in technology. And we compete with other things. When I grew up, you know, we had the digital click TV that you know, had maybe 12 channels. We had well, you had 3. That was before me. But you know, you had the hanger in the back, those kind of things. That now children have 800 to 1,000 channels. When they're bored, they click, right? So when they're in the classroom, when they're bored, they can't click their teacher on. Or when they're reading material or those kind of things, they can't, you know, they can't turn the page in a sense, it goes somewhere else. And so basically we wanted to look at that, and then also with technology, there's actually 2 more things that a child needs or a person needs to be able to access the 22nd century. Not the 21st century because that's kind of gone. So the 22nd century with technology, and that is actually digital media and engagement, which are 2 big things. Digital media, because my son, he will send me a text, and it will have an emoji, it will have a GIF, it is a few words. I'm like, what are you saying? You know, I don't have digital media skills, so I can't interpret all of that stuff. But anyway, and then engagement is a big one, right? Because even if you look at the Kindle, which was in 2008, and around the same time the iPad, all that is a PDF on the screen. And so kids are not fooled by that anymore. They still have the lack of engagement with that. And so what we invented with Playbook is an immersive media reader. Like I said before, it takes augmented reality, 360 panorama, all those kind of things that allows a person, and it's not just for children. Actually, when you look at technology, and I'm going to stop it, when you look at technology with the development of a book, technology only goes from kindergarten to 3rd grade, where they have video books, they have some of those. But after that, even in the school system, it's just your traditional novels, it's just those kind of things. The other thing that we are inventing, which is bigger than that. So we have single tool players, which is Playbook. And then you have developing a whole network. And so we're actually creating, and it's funny that we're sitting in a library, we're creating a new digital world library. And what that means is that everything is going digital, textbooks, regular books, those kind of things. And what people don't understand is when you buy a Kindle or when you buy a book on iBooks, you do not own that book. You only license it on that specific device that you have, right? But if you look at it in a tangible textbook standpoint, you can see it, you can sell a used book on Amazon. You can go to a thrift store, because you own that book, you can sell a used book. But you cannot do that with digital. And so what we're looking at is what is called permissionless owning of things. And so that what we're changing with the new digital world library is we're creating a network with blockchain development to where you can put your book on the blockchain environment, and that allows you to authenticate that issue where you have that license. The author actually creates the rules. The author may say each person can let someone borrow this book 10 times or 20 times, or the author may say anyone can borrow limitless. And so therefore, the reason why is that if you look at the invention of the library, what it was really for was equity of resources, right? That everybody should not be locked out the ability to have knowledge. Well, right now, for instance, Michelle Obama's book, if you cannot afford $29.99, you will not be able to have access to the information. And so with the new digital world library, you can set your book on there in a blockchain environment, and then you can allow someone in Nairobi or in the Bronx of New York to borrow your book for $5 or $1, right? And then a portion of that goes to the author, which the author never, in a traditional sense, the author never gets paid from a used book. Once they sell that book can travel and be sold anywhere else, the author doesn't have it. Or maybe the author just wants everyone to read it, so they're allowing you to loan it out or borrow just like a traditional library for free. And so we're also creating a blockchain network environment for books to be able to be permissionless, but understand the implications of that. So that's the digital right media of books, but then you look at video, you look at video games, then you look at all other songs and music and those kind of things that have that kind of monopolize of information technology. So that's it. Sorry.
Let's give this man.
And this woman,
a round of applause.
that's the type of innovation that we know. I mean, when you talk about solutions, and how do we create those opportunities. And once again, I thank you for taking the time and allowing us to take the time to go back and figure out the history. And when we talk about the importance of that, it not only helps us educate ourselves, oh, that's where that came from, but it also reminds us that great things can come from all types of people. And we have to practice that, and we have to realize that equity really does matter. And so when we open up doors and we create opportunities or just move out the way, great things can happen. So we want to use the rest of our time for you all to not only meet and greet with our guests in our table setups, but also with one another so that you can see how you can create viable solutions. Oh, any announcements anyone would like to share? All right, let's come on.
It's not an announcement, but it's a request. So I'm at Community Housing in Wyandotte County, and we help people get ready to buy homes and become more financially healthy. And I'm looking for an organization or volunteer to help our participants learn more about how they can manage their money through apps and online banking. So I'm not promoting any particular bank per se, but just learning how those tools can help them in their day-to-day budgeting. So if you have any ideas or want to refer me to anyone, please see. Great.
What other announcements or requests? Yes, come on to the mic. Go back.
Hi again, I'm Nikki, and I just wanted to announce our Youth Technology Fair is next Saturday at the Southeast Community Center. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're going to have an active robotics competition at the event. 15 to 20 teams that will be actively competing. We'll also have interactive STEM-related activities. It is a free event for children. We have flyers at our table. We hope that everyone walks away with a flyer and has a kid or a family they'd like to invite. Thank you.
Hi there, since Tom Messelman isn't here today from Connecting for Good, I'm going to say something on his behalf. Tomorrow, at Connecting for Good tomorrow morning, from 9 to 10:30, we have 4 students right now who are in the CompTIA A+ certification program through Goodwill, but they're taking those classes at Connecting for Good. We're hosting just a very small job fair. We've got 2 or 3 folks coming to that just to talk to them about digital careers, how they can leverage their CompTIA A+ certification to get jobs in the field. So we're very excited. It's our first cohort going through, so we're showing some progress. We've got internships for everybody that's involved. So we're looking forward to seeing if we can get these nice folks placed in nice paying jobs.
Thank you. Good, viable solution. Any other requests or announcements? All right.
Thank you. Really hate that I missed most of the program, but anyway, the Quinville Ruins Underground Railroad over in Wyandotte County, since our last meeting, January the 8th and 9th, U.S. Senator Pat Roberts was able to get the Quinville Town Site National Commemorative Site reintroduced in the Senate, and it has a bill number S.47, section 9008 underneath the Natural Resources Management Act. Senator McCloskey is the chair. I'm probably mispronouncing her name. She is the chair of that committee. Some of you may or may not know, but it went through the U.S. House of Representatives unanimously back in July of 2018, and a lot of us were on pins and needles, but we do have the largest archaeological underground railroad site in North America, and it's still moving forward, and I just want to share that, so if any of you might be kind enough to network with anybody you might know. Thank you.
All right, any other? Okay, while walking up, one of the projects that are going on is we talk about equity and really ensuring that we see it in different facets. Something called the Racial Equity and Inclusion Project is here in Kansas City. We were able to put on about 7 cohorts last year. We actually have some of them in this space, and we've also partnered with KCPS and the city. We have some participants. I'm sorry, Wes, Dr. Parham's there. And so, but it is a 2-day training that really does a really good historical context of race and what does it mean. And so as we continue to grow our muscle in advocating for equity, it is really good to put ourselves in those places and continue to grow and learn about all the ways that we become equitable. And so you can look on Eventbrite. They are scheduled to begin in March. Probably by the end of next week, it will be available on Eventbrite, but just wanted to drop that in there. When you go to Eventbrite, just search REI, and then you can register. They're all at no cost. They've been fully sponsored. So.
I would like to say that we have 4 students from Coronado Middle School that will be sending an experiment to the International Space Station upon SpaceX. It's the 5th experiment that the Kansas City community has sent to the SpaceX. Rick Usher helped us get this started. What, 2012?
It's been a while.
2012.
So, William, were we the only city to sponsor a space flight mission?
Yes, and we're and Kansas City, by sending its 5th one, has sent more experiments by students than any other community in Canada and South America, which are the other 2 countries that participate. Secondly, this morning, we've just been put on a grant with by Amazon through an organization called My Community Plant Foundation, and they've tasked us to reach out to as many organizations that are doing work in the community in the space of youth and adult workforce development. It actually, Rick, is the organization that walked away from the Envision Center. They walked away from it and they come back and reached us directly. And so one of the deals we're doing is crowdsourcing digital badges through youth entrepreneurship. So I'll be sending some information out to that. But all of you that are around the table, all of you in the coalition, look forward to an email to see where you guys can get some funding to help build some capacity. And with that comes ECM that allows us to start capturing our impact, capturing our successes so that we can, tell the story and help you guys to pursue grants. Thank you.
Another really great solution. So thank you, William, for everything. Any other announcements or requests?
I'd just like to say hello to all of our Facebook friends. We got, of course, our friend on Kansas City West, Seattle, Bob Akers. It's always a stalwart watcher of our efforts here in Kansas City. I think he's really on a mission to bring that office back to Kansas City, so everything we can do to get that back here would be good. But share, like, all the stuff they're doing the video, like, share, comment, so that the word gets out about what we're doing, and then share your events on this Facebook page, on the Twitter feed, and then there's the YouTube channel, include KC. So be sure to use those, and then you can also add those to the playlists that we have there, so we can continue to tell the story of what's happening.
All right. We're going to give it back to Ina.
All right, so I'm just announcing for the March meeting, which will be on Friday, March 1st. Again, every first Friday of the month, 10:30 to 12. And the guest speaker is from KCK, Alan Howes. So he'll be the speaker, so please plan now to come out. And so what we decided as a coalition is at the last 15 minutes, because when people get there to introduce themselves, it's like, oh, I want to go see that person, I want to talk to them. So we try to stay committed to allowing the last 15 minutes of our meeting for networking. So definitely network with each other, network with the vendors who took their time. Thank you all for coming out, I appreciate it. My friends who came out to support as well. Daryl, she's still here. Anita, Wes, just everybody, appreciate you guys coming out. So Mix and Mingle Top, Mr. Woodruff, Ms. Randolph, just seeing people I know, I personally asked who actually came. So I appreciate y'all. Lynn, she just walked in with the baby. And she's a high-tech person, so don't let her fool. March 5th, I'm sorry, March 1st? They're always here.
They're always here.
Yes, always here in this space. Good question.
Correction, it's United Way will be here in March. It's all about the VITA program.
I have an old email that I was looking at.
Oh, okay, so who is it?
Sorry, for March, United Way will be here to talk about the VITA tax program. And then in April, we will have Alan House with Wyandotte County.
And
United Way is partnering with Connecting for Good. You all know it's one of our long-standing members on the combating committee. They partnered with United Way to use digital tools and services to actually deliver an actual service, the financial aid services of the Auditorium. So pretty exciting.
And if you all have any program ideas or anything that you want to see, our whole intention is that this is a resource. And so if you're like, hey y'all, have y'all thought about this? I would like to learn more about that. Please let any of us know because that will help shape the programming.
And we have 2 new people who have signed up to be official members of the coalition.
Woo!
And it's free, so all you have to do is just sign your name at the bottom, turn it into one of the steering council members, we'll add you to the website, David will get you on there. And
Who are those 2 organizations?
It's,
got Goodwill here, they're already on the site.
and Black Family Technology formally signed up.
Oh, wonderful!
Any other questions, comments, suggestions, ideas? Thank you all for coming again. Have a good night.
How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm good. We're still on the Facebook Live. So
okay.
You want to tell us a bit about what you've got and we can share this stuff?
Okay. All right. I'm with the Full Employment Council. My name's Tim Allen. The Full Employment Council is a nonprofit organization that operates and manages the career centers in the Kansas City area. We provide a wide variety of different services from training, real-time training, certification training, to working with employers with regards to fulfilling their hiring needs. Currently, we've got going our Tech Hire Initiative, which is a grant program that we brought to the Kansas City area that allows for real classroom training, certification training, as well as providing a work component with that classroom training for someone. And it covers all these counties: Jackson, Cass, Clay, Platte, and Ray counties. These counties we have offices in.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Good to talk to you. Thanks a lot.
How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good.
Good
How
to
you
see you.
doing? Good to see you. See you.
I know it sounds like a lot of focus. That part as well. So that's basically
Yeah, you guys got a committee.
Hello.
Everybody come out.
Hey,
Hey,
Mr. Walker, how you doing? We're still on the Facebook Live, so I'm just going around asking folks to tell us more about your event coming up.
Appreciate it. Yeah, the Black Family Technology Awareness Association is going to be holding its 15th annual KC Youth STEM Fair. And that's going to be February the 9th, right at the Southeast Community Center in the beautiful Swope Park. So if you're familiar, and we've got robotics teams coming for competition from Nebraska, from Iowa, from Lone Jack, Missouri, from Platte City. There's a lot of young people, busloads that'll be there, and it should be a great event.
Oh, that's
so
great.
We hope Kansas
We'll
City
follow
comes
it in our social media here as well. So that's cool. There's some flyers. We'll post the flyer on the Facebook page too. So.
That's good. That's good. Because we still have to work on the solutions to this digital divide. And I was looking at something from the National Science Foundation saying that over the last couple of years, the number of African Americans and Hispanics, especially of African Americans, has actually went down that are getting degrees in science and engineering. So we've got to turn that around. Instead of going up, our curve is going down. And we've got to get young people involved in the sciences, in engineering, to get those degrees, because that's where our development's coming from. That's where the research is coming from. So that's what we're working on.
We'll keep working.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Hey, Ina, you want to give us a little more detail of?
Yes, I have it set up.
Show us how these work.
Yeah, so for making, it works with anything that's conductive, and Play-Doh is conductive, and so you have to be a part of this closed circuit. So by me hanging on to this, I can then go and hit, you can't hear, but any of the Play-Dohs, and I'm playing the piano online.
All right. So you're showing kids how electronics.
How to be a part of a closed circuit. And over here, water is also a conductive material, so you probably can't hear, but I've got 2 cups of water that I have put beep sounds to, and you got to get a little bit closer, but so I can touch the water and hear the beach sound.
Ah, that's cool.
So that is that. Yeah, thank you.
Right, thank you. Thank you.
What did you do? I remember hearing it. I was like, I'm going to find out more about it. Okay, teaching coding and programming.
Yeah, about 5 different languages it's going to teach. It's a 9-month program.
Okay, 9-month program. What is it? Is it a daytime program?
I'm sorry?
Is it a daytime program, like during the day?
Yeah, we're looking at having both, but the first one is a daytime program.
It depends on the ask. I mean, we're getting more people that needs to be in the evening. Well, I run an after-school program, and so all my kids come to us after school. So they got school
going on today. So
we have one young lady who comes in and teaches, or will be starting, comes in Friday for an hour.
This is for 19-year-olds.
Yeah, and this is what I was thinking. I have right now, we don't have anything for parents.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to, pairing, the kids are here and they're right. And Ruby is great. You know Ruby? Yes, I do. I love Ruby. Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, I interviewed her for, I was glad we kept her in KC. Yeah. She said I'm a trustee scholarship. So I was glad we were able to keep her. So you have a card? I didn't bring any cards. Well, my kids had school issues, so I haven't been to the office as a grad okay. So I apologize about that. So I didn't bring any. But if you all have one, I'll make sure that I can email you all. Yeah. I didn't bring any. Okay. Well, then we all in the room. So you can take a picture on the website. Yeah, I can get you on LinkedIn. Oh, I do LinkedIn. Okay, let's do that. So. Wes Parham is my name. Wes, what's your last name? Parham, P-A-R.
Hey, we're still on Facebook Live. I don't know if our friend Bob's still watching, but
all right, hello.
How are things going at your computer lab?
Yeah, we still going.
Things going well?
Well, we still don't have a lot of people, but then we got people now that beginning to call in.
Yeah.
And make appointments to because it's by appointment only now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, might be the winter weather too. You never know.
Well, let's hope that's what it is.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Hey, we're really getting into the social media here. Hey, this will be meta. This will be really meta. It's like Facebook in a.
I need that. I like that. I want that picture.
Hey, Tammy, I'm still on the Facebook Live. You need to tell us a bit about Techquity Digital and then this new announcement that you have.
So Techquity Digital, we've been doing quite a bit. We're on the move. So we're working on a couple different things. We are not only working with Philip in regards to our Learn Techquity, because we want to basically open up, coding academies. That's one. We're also working with people doing virtual call center. So we open up a virtual call center that allow people to work from home.
Yeah.
And they can literally be call center for Fortune 500 companies. So we're looking for people that would like to work from home, that wants to make extra money, any of that nature. Definitely give me a call or reach me out on Techquity Digital on Facebook, and I can get in touch with you, get you signed up. There are some small costs because you do have to go through a little training, but those are very minimal costs. So if you're looking to work from home, if you're looking for a part-time job, definitely look me up.
That's great. Thanks. That's a huge opportunity that we have for distance working from home. I mean, taking transportation out of someone's day, it's really an opportunity.
Exactly. And it's a great opportunity for anyone, like I said, and it's not just a minimum wage job. I mean, these are jobs that are making $12, $13, $14 an hour, but, very small setup fees. As long as you have a computer and fast internet speed, we can get you signed up. We work with Fortune 500 companies. I cannot say their names right now, but once you sign up, you will definitely recognize these companies. Definitely.
Yeah, well, that's great. I'm looking forward to working with you more this year. So,
thank you so much, Rick. I appreciate it.
Okay, that's it from the Coalition. Have a great weekend.